What's up everybody, welcome back to another BTD gaming video, and today we're going to go through a complete deck guide for one of my personal favorite decks out there, Shark Control. Now this deck isn't really like huge in the meta or anything, but I think it's a pretty good budget option to bring to locals or to play with your friends, and it's a pretty straightforward deck that actually is pretty consistent and can get really good use out of the resources it provides. Has some pretty powerful cards in here, and I just think it's a really fun deck, and I just wanted to go through the ins and outs of it, show some test hands, show some replays, so then maybe you can pick this deck up to try it. So hence the name, it's Shark Control, so it's a bunch of shark monsters, water, aqua monsters, fish, that can special summon themselves from the hand. Sometimes you can special summon them from the deck and even the graveyard if another fish water monster is on the field, and you can get into some pretty powerful Xyz plays in this deck, including getting out cards like Totally Awesome, Stealth Kragen or Stealth Kragen Spawn, Silent Honor Arc, the Utopic Draco cards. There's a whole bunch of different options in this deck at your disposal, and there's a bunch of different ways to make these powerful cards. The deck is actually, like I said, very surprisingly consistent, because a lot of these cards can either search something else or special summon something else from the deck or hand, or it can special summon itself from the grave or from the hand based on what is or isn't on the field. So you seem to always have resources at your disposal when you're building your board. So we're going to go through the card by card here and kind of go through what each card does. First, we have Beautiful Princess. This card is pretty simple. It's a searcher. You can banish this card for cost, and then you can special summon one level 4 or lower fish monster, and there are plenty of level 4 or lower fish monsters at your disposal. Next we have Buzzsaw Shark. This is mainly used for Xyz plays because it can change which level it is based on what Xyz monster you want to summon. So if you need 2 level 4s to make a rank 4, Buzzsaw Shark can do that. And you know, a lot of these cards come with the stipulation that you can't special summon monsters except for water monsters, but lucky for you, that's basically the entire deck. And the Xyz monster that this card's on can do double damage, so it's just one of those cards that can special summon itself from the hand, and is very versatile and can be used for different kinds of Xyz plays. Next we have Buzzsaw Shark, which is another searcher. You're basically targeting itself if you summon it to special summon from deck in defense position one fish monster the same level as whichever fish monster you targeted, which in most cases will be level 4, but it can't activate its effect. So a simple combo you can do is Beautiful Princess effect to special summon Buzzsaw Shark, to activate Buzzsaw Shark's effect to special summon something else. And yeah, so a very good card. This is also a good opening card too, a good normal summon as well. Next we have Silent Angler, and this card's very simple. If you control a water monster, which in most cases you will, including this card by the way, you can special summon this card from your hand, but you cannot special summon monsters from your hand for the rest of the turn. So if you have plays that you can make, and you kind of want this guy to be one of the last ones you summon, so you know that you don't have any more monsters you can special summon from hand, because Silent Angler will create that restriction. But again, it's just another free resource you can get onto the field via special summon to make any one of your rank 4s to get into cards like Toad or whatever. Next we have 2 Tangy Spirit. Chitana, again, just a card that can special summon itself from the hand. If there's nothing else on the field, can be used again as Xyz materials. Silent Sea Needle, another level 4. This is an aqua, not a fish, but again, if you control a water monster, you can special summon this card. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 3 water monsters in your graveyard, and shuffle them into the deck. So some pretty good use there, but again, The big thing here is being able to special summon it to get your resources on your board to make your extra deck plays. We have Crystal Shark, which is very similar to Abyss Shark. This is a level 5, but depending on the situation, what Xyz monster you want to make, it can be treated as a level 3 or a level 4. If this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can target a water monster in the field to special summon this card, and you can have a monster's attack and all that. So again, very similar to Abyss Shark. Next we have Lantern Shark, which is probably one of my targets from Buzzsaw Shark to special summon. If this card is special summon, you can activate this effect. Special summon 1 level 3, 4, or 5 water monster from your hand defense position, except Lantern Shark. Things like that. Again, the restrictions of you can't special summon from the extra deck except for water doesn't matter here because that's basically the important cards you have. But just keep in mind that when you're playing cards like a Lantern Shark or any of these cards that don't allow you to special summon anything except for water, then you can't go into your Utopic plays or your Zeus plays, so keep that in mind as you're building your board. We have Lifeless Leaf Fish. When this card is summoned, you can send 1 fish monster from your deck to the graveyard to Foolish Burial. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target 3 fish monsters in your graveyard, shuffle those into the deck. Very similar to Silent Sea Needle. So a lot of times you'll use Leaf Fish to send your next card here, Right Hand Shark. And if you can Foolish Burial this card into the graveyard, it can special summon itself from the graveyard. It can't be destroyed by battle. An Xyz monster that was summoned using only water monsters as material, including this card, gains the effect that can't be destroyed by battle, which is really big. So these are all your water monsters, fish, and aquas. Next we have Ash Blossom and Joy Spring for negation as a hand trap. Getting into the spells, we have White Mirror. Now this card is really cool. You can target 1 level 4 or lower fish monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is good on its own, especially in this deck. But then you can add 1 monster from your deck to your hand with the same original name as that special summon monster. So let's say your Buzzsaw Shark is in the grave, you can activate White Mirror and then target your Buzzsaw Shark, special summon it, then add another Buzzsaw Shark from your deck to your hand, and then you can activate your Buzzsaw Shark's effect to special summon another monster. So again, you're getting a lot of resources on the board and gaining advantage because of this one card. White Mirror is a must 3 of, I believe, in this deck. In my opinion. We have 2 Paw of Desires, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, Foolish Burial for the sole purpose of sending your right hand shark to the grave. We have a 1-for-1, which can search you your Beautiful Princess, called by the grave, your instant fusion, and 2 ready fusions for your rare fish in your extra deck. Those are the spells. Going into the traps, we have 3 Infinite Impermanence for more negation. You can kind of substitute this with whatever you want if you don't want to use Imperm, and 2 goes in match. So that's the main deck. Going into the extra deck here, and this is where things get really interesting. Again, we have 1 rare fish, which is a target for instant fusion or ready fusion, just to get a material on the board to go into more Xyz plays. 2 Totally Awesomes, which are made by your Bahamut Shark. This card is just amazing. You can negate, you can bring this card back to the extra deck or another card in your graveyard back to your hand, which is crazy. A lot of good recursion. And again, Bahamut Shark, a lot of your plays are going to be getting these guys onto the board, making your Bahamut Shark, then activating your Bahamut Shark's effect, detaching something, and then making your Totally Awesome. Next we have the Kragens, and these cards are actually a lot better than people give them credit for. This helps with control of the board. So you have a number 4 Stealth Kragen, which gives you, well, first of all, it makes everything water on the board, and as a quick effect, you can destroy 1 water monster your opponent controls, which of course, this makes it water per its effect, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the attack they had on the field. Now, but it doesn't stop there. If Stealth Kragen is destroyed, okay, you can special summon these 2 Stealth Kragen spawns from your graveyard up to the number of materials that this has. So if this had 2 materials on it, which is how much it takes to make it, you can special summon 2 Stealth Kragen spawns. And what's cool about the Stealth Kragen spawns is, again, they can go into some Utopic future plays. They give you resources on your board. They also have the same destroy effect that regular Stealth Kragen has. I think except for the burn damage. But then one of these guys is destroyed, you can target 1 water monster from your graveyard, so you can re-special summon your Stealth Kragen back onto the field and re-attach materials to it, which is crazy. The Kragen package here is very consistent, and I think it's very, very underrated as cards. I think they're really good. Next we have Abyss Dweller, which is kind of a staple in water decks regardless of what the format is, but in this format in particular, Abyss Dweller is very, very good. We have number 101 Silent Honor Art. This card, you can take control of another opponent's monsters and add to it as material. Just another great way to control the board like a lot of these other Xyz monsters have. Number 37, Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. This guy, number 59, Crooked Crook, doesn't come up that often, but when it does, he can be a very big problem for your opponent, especially if he's paired with Bahamut Shark. Next we have the Utopic package. We have number F0 Utopic Future and number F0 Utopic Draco Future. This just adds another big body onto the board, another way to negate, and just works really, really well with really any Xyz-centric deck, but works really well with this deck as well. And then our last Xyz card we have, of course, is Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus, Sky Thunder. So this is the deck profile. Let's now look at some test hands to see how this deck works, and then we'll take a look at replays. Alright, so here's our first test hand, and it's actually not bad. We have our starter, we have the Tuneful Princess that we're going to normal summon and activate its effect, and it's going to banish itself. So we're going to use that to search and special summon our Buzzsaw Shark. Buzzsaw Shark is special summon, activate its effect, target itself, so now we can special summon a level 4 or lower fish monster. We're going to choose Lantern Shark, and it's good to have Lantern Shark in rotation, because if this gets back onto the field, you can activate its effect. So first things first, we're going to use these 2 monsters to make our Bahamut Shark. And then we're going to use our Bahamut Shark, detach our Lantern Shark to make a Totally Awesome. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And this isn't a bad board to set up on, because we do have an Infinite Impermanence. We do have a Goes in Magic Called by the Grave. We also have this Silent Sea Needle, which isn't really useful for us right now, but if we did need to, we could special summon that from hand. So that was a very basic example of getting to your Bahamut Shark and getting to your Totally Awesome, and you can even set up more boards, bigger board than this. Alright, so here's our next test hand here, and not too bad. We'll activate Pot of Desire, see what we get. It is kind of high rolly because you can banish some stuff you need, but it's not the biggest deal. Thankfully, we did have our Ready Fusion with us. So we have a Tuneful Princess. We are going to normal summon that. We are then going to special summon our Lantern Shark here. Activate the Lantern Shark effect to special summon Buzzsaw Shark. We're going to activate our Buzzsaw Shark effect, target itself, to special summon another monster from our deck. Let's just special summon Right Hand Shark here, and we still have more moves we can make. We're going to actually activate Abyss Shark to special summon, so we have some moves we can make here, and then we're going to add a Silent Angler. We're going to special summon our Silent Angler, and so now we have a full board that we can mess with. So let's start with our Bahamut Shark. Make him. Activate Bahamut Shark. We'll detach the Lantern Shark. We'll make our Totally Awesome. And like I said, we have a couple other things we can do. We're going to make our Stealth Kragen. We're going to use our Abyss Shark, and we're going to use our Silent Angler to make our Kragen. We're then going to activate White Mirror to special summon the Lantern Shark. And now we can make another monster. Let's go ahead and make our Abyss Dweller. This is kind of a dream setup here for our board because we have the Infinite Impermanence. So what we have here is General Negation with Totally Awesome. We have Destruction with Stealth, number 4, Stealth Kragen. We have Graveyard Negation for Abyss Dweller. And we have an Infinite Impermanence. So this board can be pretty crazy and hard to deal with. So if you use your Totally Awesome to negate something, you can just add it back to your extra deck. And again, Kragen is pretty crazy because it destroys, it doesn't target, which is really, really helpful. So yeah, this is a pretty good board for your Shark deck. So let's go ahead and take a look at some replays and see how the deck works.